Hi everyone, my name is Matthew Moser and I'm a software engineer over at Itemus. This is the fourth and final part of the Tara process series. I highly recommend you watch the series in its entirety, as the information that we discuss in this video won't make too much sense unless you've watched the whole series up until this point. So we've completed our item definition, outlined our impact level for damage scenarios, and performed a threat analysis. So now it's time to put it all together and determine the risk within our product. In order to determine the risks that are present within our product, what we're going to do is we just finished our threat scenario identification, we have our threats, we have our damage scenarios, and now we're going to move over to our risk assistant here. You may need to select refresh just to make sure that all the risks are present, but then we'll be given a threat scenario that is part of this new risk. So we'll go ahead and accept that. It creates risk 1, denial of service. We could go ahead and control left click this and it will take us over to this particular instance. And what we can see here is that we have our stakeholders and the risks that they hold. With the OEM, we decided that the OEM wasn't going to be responsible for this, so it's primarily on the road user. We have our two different control scenarios present, one in which the controls are actually active and the other in which they're not. Let me go ahead and actually clear that up and give them better titles. We could say that this is no controls. Go back over to the risk chunk. There we go, that looks better. And we can see what the cause of this risk is. Now with this information, and especially when we have more risk in our Tara, we can actually understand what areas of the product need to be more secure, either from a reducing the impact that an attack might have on a particular damage scenario, or by lowering the feasibility. Typically, we're going to be lowering the feasibility. It's significantly harder to reduce the impact that an attacker might have, or in some sorts of attacks, actually impossible. But we'll focus mostly on the attack feasibility and reducing it via the inclusion of new controls within our system. So if we were unhappy with the risk level that is finally put here, and we have a risk level of 2, we want it to be a 1, likely what we would end up doing is go back over to our attack steps section and our controls section and add new controls and modify our attack tree so that these new controls are being used instead, and we would do that until we were able to lower it to a 1. This is of course going to depend entirely on what it is you're actually working on and what type of problem it is. Certain controls are going to be applicable to some situations and they won't be to others. That's typically just how cybersecurity functions, but you'll at least be able to map all of that out within the controls and attack step security chunk here. And that way you'll be able to change how the attack feasibility level rating is being presented and hopefully be able to actually achieve your goal of lowering that down to a 1. But this is the final step. It's the easiest step and it's the accumulation of all your hard work. So now that, assuming you've been following the process here, you would then complete this with all of your damage scenarios and your threats within your system, and you'd get this final big list of all the risks that are currently present and what their feasibility is. And at that point, you're able to have some sort of actionable plan based off of the information that you have within this. That about does it for this series. We will have other videos in the future covering a variety of other security topics and just general tips and tricks for how to use the security analyst tool that we have here. Thank you and have a wonderful day.